everyone, welcome back to the Candid Clementine. Are you looking to plan a dream vacation in Switzerland? And by dream vacation, I mean you're looking to get every single thing that the country has to offer cram-packed into just a couple of days? Well, this is the video for you. And so in this video, I'll be walking you through 5 days that I spent in Switzerland this summer as part of an overall European backpacking trip. And I'm really excited to share with you the adventures that you can find both in the city and amongst nature while you're there. So without further ado, let's jump right in. To start off the trip, we spent days 1 and 2 in the city of Zurich. And you might be thinking, okay, well, if I'm looking for adventure and activities, shouldn't I be branching off to some little village somewhere or, somewhere a little closer to the Alps? Well, stop right there because we'll get there in a moment. But I want to say that Zurich doesn't have a lack of activities for you to explore. So on the first day that we arrived, we racked in over 20,000 steps easily just exploring the old city, which was an absolutely beautiful area. After we were walking around exploring some of the old shops and the architecture and just soaking in the beauty of the city, we found this little spot that rented kayaks. And so it was just around like 50 euros to get a 2-person kayak for an hour. And basically we were able to just like plop it down into the canal and then go around the lake for a little bit and see the city from there. But I will say, when the person in charge gives you instructions and directions and shows you a map, make sure you pay extra close attention because Ben and I ran into a little bit of trouble with the Swiss police when we were kayaking.
So apparently, we're not allowed to kayak in the middle of the river in front of all the famous landmarks.
Basically what ended up happening was we accidentally went down the wrong canal and all of a sudden we hear this person speaking through a megaphone in Swiss German and we were like, what? They were like, you need to get out of the water right now. And we were like, can we just like backtrack a little bit? And they were like, no, like you need to get the kayak out of the water at this spot and like go figure it out. And we had to portage this kayak throughout the city of Zurich. So we had tons of people staring at us. We were dodging all of the little trolleys that were going back and forth, just trying not to get smoked with this massive kayak on us. This is a disaster. But definitely don't do that. You can go kayaking and have a great time by following the rules. On day 2 in Zurich, we decided to rent bikes, which they have this system called Zurich. Basically, you can download an app and then that app connects to a QR code on the back of the bike and then you can pay for a certain amount of time that you want to rent the bikes. There were lots of parks that we went through and before we knew it, I think it was like a 15 or 20 minute bike ride before we found ourselves just in this gorgeous countryside area. But I do recommend that if you're gonna go fast, you should probably get a helmet, and I'm speaking from experience because we had another disaster strike when we rented these bikes because I had my jacket in the front little basket and it started to fall out, and so I had my hands on the handlebars, I went to reach for the jacket, and before I knew it, I toppled off the bike, got completely battered up, like I was bleeding from the elbows, my palms, my legs, like it was a wreck. But the people in Switzerland are so kind. People from across the street, within their business, they heard me crash. They came running outside, asked if I needed help, and then they offered to bandage me up, which was very, very much appreciated. So bless up for those people that heard me crash. And overall, The biking was a great experience. I don't recommend falling off your bike, of course, but again, it's like the kayak. You do it in the right way, it's a great time. All right, so for day number 3, we decided to stop in this beautiful little city called Spitz. And Spitz is in the Interlaken area where there are beautiful lakes. There are little sneak peeks of where the Alps start. So first of all, one activity that we did in Spitz was go swimming in the lake, because they've got like the option of like this nice little beach area, or you can just go jump in wherever. So first we stumbled upon this little park that had outdoor activities like mini golf and ping pong, and that was super cute. It was just a little hut that you could walk up to, and then you could rent the equipment for whatever game that you wanted to play. So I highly recommend doing that. And then Spitz also has beautiful vineyards like on the back side of it. And so with these vineyards, they have like this interactive vineyard tour that you can participate in, where it like interacts with all the senses. So it's like you walk up to a sign and it'll ask you to like smell certain bottles, as weird as that sounds. Or like you could knock different pieces of the vineyard bark to see like if it was hollow, and just learn about what the wine process and the vineyard life is like there. So that was a really cute experience that I recommend. And then perhaps maybe what you've been waiting for, day 4 and 5, we went to Zermatt. If you don't know anything about Zermatt, I think the main thing that you should know before going there is that you can't get there with your own vehicle. Like, you can only get in and out via the train. The train systems in Switzerland are really, really nice, so it's not like you're losing anything by taking that route. Here is why lack of transportation is important in Zermatt. First of all, you get to wake up and also conclude the day with sights like this. In addition to special street appearances like this. Because it's a walking city, being able to just like herd goats down the street, or like occasionally pause the day and crowd around people playing traditional mountain horns, is a super common occurrence. I don't think you could do that if cars were just driving up and down all the time. So on day 1, we went hiking to this route that had a long suspension bridge. And when I first found out about suspension bridge, the first thing that my mind went to was like, oh my god, is this gonna be like Shrek? Is this like a wooden bridge? Like, I don't know, man. Luckily, no, they're a little more up to date with the times, but at the same time, if you do look down, I'm looking down, you can see probably hundreds and hundreds of feet into the cavern below, which was terrifying. As somebody who's afraid of heights, I think that it is worth it. Unfortunately, I do recommend having somebody that will hold your hand across the way to keep you going, because it is very, very long.
Okay, for emotional support.
On day 2, we hiked this 5 lakes loop where it had all of these different lakes with different colored water. And it was the most fluorescent turquoise you've ever seen. And some of the lakes had sheep all around them that you could go up and pet.
They're so fuzzy! Oh my gosh! Also, look at the water, dang!
And the mountain.
What?
Boom.
There's the Matterhorn!
Another thing that was just magical along this route was there were so many wildflowers, like of every single color of the rainbow. And so Ben and I made this little game up where we had to find like a flower of every single color to make a tiny cute little bouquet. And it was such a simple thing, but it just grounded me so much in the experience. And the flowers were so beautiful that was like a huge highlight of my entire month, was just picking wildflowers in the Alps. Okay, so I just got done explaining all of the activities that we did that are more like athletic and workout related during our time in Switzerland, but you might be wondering about other more like cultural things. And the first thing for that comes to mind is the fondue. This is what I recommend you do with the fondue. So if you go out to a restaurant, you can expect to pay like around 70 euros for like one person to get fondue, which is like cheese with a side of potatoes and bread. And if you've ever been somewhere like the Melting Pot, you'll know how much more there is to offer with fondue pairings. So what I recommend, finding a kit to purchase when you're there for fondue, that you can do a DIY kit in your Airbnb or wherever you're staying. Ben and I just ran to the store and we picked up like a cheese mix and then a bunch of vegetables. We picked up bread, we picked up some green apples, and we made it all ourselves. And it was so delicious. And there was so much food there, and I think we got like 4 meals worth out of the same price of what you would pay at a restaurant for one person. And in addition to just traditional cheese fondue, we also picked up a few chocolate bars when we were there of Swiss chocolate, and picked up some fruit like bananas and strawberries and made a chocolate fondue for dessert. And it was just like the best way to end the day after an extremely rigorous hike. You also might be wondering about like what the language is like in Switzerland and the people, and I already told you my little story about the business owners that came out to help me after I was on my bike ride, but we asked so many people for suggestions on trains. We went into like the little tourist areas and they were so kind and patient and helpful, and it really just made all of the difference. In addition, as for the language, so I speak a little bit of German, and I was a little scared, honestly, about what my experience would be like, because I heard Swiss German is like a combination of a little Italian, a little French, a little German, a little dialect. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to understand anything. But I was pleasantly surprised. I actually understood more German in Switzerland than I did in southern Germany, where I found like the accent was a little thicker there. And I would say maybe only one person that we interacted with the entire time in Switzerland didn't speak English. Like I said in my Sorrento video, if you want to go check that out, it's always good to try to learn the language, because that always just makes people's day and it's a sign of respect. So if you want to pick up a few little German tidbits along the way, Moin Moin is a good one to start with. In the end, Switzerland was an absolutely incredible experience. I highly, 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 highly recommend it. I would only say make sure that when you go, you have a good chunk of money saved up, because Switzerland is one of the most expensive places that I have ever been in my life, which I think I understand, because if prices were lower and more of what we were used to, then I think everyone would just move and live in Switzerland, because it's perfect and amazing, and I really, really hope that you enjoy it when you get to go eventually someday. So thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and stay tuned for more travel videos to come in the future. All right, ciao for now. See you guys.